I'm David Harshada Wagner. I'm a father, author, spiritual teacher. So I was in India teaching, and I was in New Delhi. And New Delhi is a funny place because it's a big city, and it's real chaotic, like a lot of India is. And there's a thing where the rickshaw drivers, the guys who drive the auto rickshaws, will try to rip you off. Not just tourists, also local people. They don't have meters, so you negotiate a fare ahead of time. And so when they see me, they just assume that I'm a tourist and like I've never been to India before and that sort of thing. So it's not uncommon for a 20 rupee rickshaw ride to be quoted at like 500 rupees. So one day, I was needing to take a rickshaw just a short distance to where I was teaching. And I was in this place where there were a whole bunch of rickshaw drivers, and they were all kind of ganging up on me. And they were saying, 500, it was like 20 rupees. And they were saying, okay, 500. And I can speak a little bit of Hindi. I knew enough to be able to negotiate those sorts of things and also how to swear in Hindi. So what I found that was often effective is when the rickshaw drivers would try to rip me off, I would just speak to them in Hindi, and then they'd think, oh, this guy is not a tourist. So I tried that, and they were still trying to rip me off. So then I started to cuss at them. And the thing that I was saying was chutiya mat banao, which means roughly translated into don't try to make me into your pussy. In other words, don't try to fuck me. And other things, other very crude things I was saying to all these people. And so I was getting pissed off. And I was losing my temper, and especially like my ego was just like inflamed. And they would say, oh, don't listen to him, come. It's not 500, I'll take you for 200, no problem. So this one rickshaw driver, he's just standing there going like this, just calling me over. He's kind of cool. And so I go over, and I was like, how much? I'm like infuriated by now. And he says, pay what you like, which is oftentimes what they say when they're trying to rip you off. I'm like, oh, pay what you like, what? It's 20 rupees. He's like, yeah, 20 rupees, come. So finally I sit down, and we pull away. And I'm kind of huffing and puffing and kind of cooling off. And he's looking at me in his rearview mirror, and he says, you speak good Hindi. And finally, like my ego gets a little something, and I'm like, thank you. And he's like, but you speak like a naughty schoolboy, the way that you were talking to those men back there. And I was like, He says, what are you doing here in Delhi? I was like, well, I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm here teaching Vedanta. After he had just heard me say, don't try to make me into your pussy. And he's just driving along, and this guy's got this amazing energy. And he says, see all these people? It's India, so there's people all over the place. He says, see all these people? He says, I believe that God lives in every one of these people. He said, do you believe that? And I said, yeah. I mean, he wasn't just saying, you could feel that he was in that. He said, that's how you should talk to people, like that, not the way that you were talking to those men. And we got to my destination, and I gave him his 20 rupees, and I said, here's the 20 rupees for the ride. And I said, here's 500 rupees for your upadesh. And that was the story of when I got schooled by the rickshaw driver.
I was looking for something. A spark. A break from the routine. A breath of fresh air.